भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। श्रीकृष्ण भगवान की जय। नमः परमऋषिभ्यो नमः परमऋषिभ्यः। हरिः ओम्। प्रपञ्चरङ्गे शिवमौलिरङ्गे सतां प्रसङ्गे श्रुतिवाक्यरङ्गे नतार्तिभङ्गे हृदि चित्तरङ्गे मदन्तरङ्गे वस देवि गङ्गे। यामेव नित्यं यमिनोऽभियन्ति यामेव नित्यं श्रुतयो गृह्णन्ति यामेव नित्यं विबुधाः स्तुवन्ति तामेव गङ्गां वयम् आश्रयामः। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेषु अभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषां धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नाम् अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। We have entered the Dashamaskandha, which is called as Nirodha Skandha, because the greatest difficulty, with great difficulty one has to control the mind and keep the mind quiet. But when you hear Bhagavat Katha, naturally the mind becomes soft, peaceful, and the chitta naturally gets niruddha. Hence this skandha is called Nirodha Skandha. Bhagavat Katha, Bhagavata Katha, Shravana purifies the mind. This Saptaha Shravana is a spiritual yajna. It is. In Kerala, there was a great Bhagavatakara, Swami Jnanananda Saraswati. Our Swamiji, Padmanabhan Swamiji were all very closely associated with Swamiji. Yes, na chala. Swamiji was Gurudev's disciple. In his Purvashrama, he walked the entire distance from Kerala to Rishikesh to see Gurudev, Swami Shivanji Maharaj. He walked the way with taking bhiksha and came here. Swamiji gave him sannyas and asked him to speak on Bhagavatam. I think Swamiji did not stay much here because Shivanji Maharaj asked him to go back to Kerala and do Bhagavata Saptaha. And I was also not very close but associated with Swamiji, very parichaya was there. Swamiji's Bhagavata Saptaham, Swamiji himself used to cook also for the devotees who come there to listen Bhagavatam. He will enter the kitchen in between. While the Parayanam is going on, he will go there and assist in cooking. And he will do the serving also. And he will spend his own money there. Many ashramas he started. And if something is not to his mind, he will drop that ashrama there and go. Thus he has dropped many ashramas. Just one night notice, he will drop a big ashrama and leave the place. So that he was totally unattached. Was a great Bhagavatakara and also a great devotee of Swami Shivanji Maharaj. Once somebody asked Anand Swami during a Guru Purnima day to speak about Gurudev Swami Shivanji Maharaj. And mic was arranged, everything was arranged. Swamiji came, sat there and said in Malayalam, and Gurudevan. Then he narrated some incident where perhaps the incident where Swamiji took the medicine up to 30-40 kilometers to see a suffering devotee. And he started weeping, he could not speak anymore. So, I just was reminded about Swamiji today in Bhagavatam. This is the best occasion where we have to remember him. It's a Bhagavata Saptaha. He has given, just like Gurudev, he has given Diksha to many. So, Bhagavata Katha is Paramahamsa Samhita. Now we are in the Dashamaskandha. Krishna is born. He is not born somewhere in Gokulam or Mathura. He is born in our heart. When he takes birth in our heart, everything becomes sweet. That is why it is said, Mathuradhipatehe Akhilam Madhuram. Everything about him is Madhuram. Everything about him is sweet. When that pure bhakti comes in the heart, everything becomes Madhuram. So Krishna was born there and he was taken to Gokulam. And of course we saw that Yashoda Sutta, that divine mother, Katyayani, was brought here and she gave an Upadesha to Kamsa and disappeared. After this incident, Kamsa became, for a little bit of time, he also, there was goodness in him also. He said, oh, what atrocities I did to my sister, thinking that her son is going to kill me. Now everything has changed. And he asked, he fell in fact at her feet and told Devaki that I have done such a sin. He did Kshamayachana, but only for few minutes. Then she said, everyone has to suffer according to their karma only. Then he went away. This time in Gokulam there was joy. Because Bhagavan is born, suddenly that dawn brought so much of bliss in Gokulam. Because that Ananda Swarupa is born, Gokulam was bliss, filled with bliss. And all the gopikas, they woke up fresh with Ananda. And they were asking why there is a causeless Ananda. Without any cause, there is Ananda. Why it is happening so? And you don't know that Yashoda has given birth to a child. We have to go there. So all the gopikas, they rushed to see Krishna. Nandastvatmaja utpanne jata hlado mahamanaha ahuya vipran vedajnana snata shuchiralankritaha. He did swastenam, invited all the brahmanas and gave dana. And Nandagopa took a swim in the river. He jumped into the river. All our smritis, they say, when a son is born, when the news goes to the father, the first thing that he has to do is he has to go to a nearby river or a pond and make a jump into it. Even such things are told. Splashing water, he has to jump there and take a bath with so much joy and give dhanam. First thing that he has to do is give dhanam. And dhanam he gave. After that, all of the gopikas, they came to see Krishna. Gopya sumrishta manikundala nishkakantyaha chitrambaraha pathishika chutamalyavarsaha nandalayam savalaya vrajati virejuhu vyalola kundala payodhara hara shobha. All the gopikas with all alankara, the rasa krida is not something happened later. The moment Bhagavan was born, Shrayata Indira Shashvadatrahi. All of them were rushing with so much joy. And one by one they took Krishna in their lap. And the moment they touched him, it was not an ordinary sukham, it was Brahma sukham. Brahma Sukhanubhuti. Shukacharya says Brahma Sukhanubhuti they had. And they were wondering how Yashoda is golden color. And Nandagopa is also like that. But this Krishna, you can touch him, put a tilaka. He is dark. He is so dark. And strangely, a bluish darkness is there in him, and so beautiful he is. If he sits in the lap of Yashoda, it is just like a dark cloud and lightning. And there, they all came and had it. This time, suddenly Nandagopa became wealthy also. When Bhagavan comes, wealth also comes. It is for divine purpose, money will come. Just as Shankaracharya called Kanakadhara, Angam Harehe Pulaka Bhushanam Ashrayanti, Bringanganeva Mukulabharanam Tamalam, Angikrita Khila Vibhutira Pangalila, Vangalyadastu Mama Mangala Devataya. So much gold coins fell from the roof. We have heard the story, right? And people are by-hearting that Kanakadhara Stavam, looking at the roof, chanting. Perhaps some Gauli will fall. Not gold coin, nothing falls. Because Shankaracharya did not chant that for himself. It was pure Karuna. That Karuna came out like that. Swami Vivekananda, in one of his talks, he says about his plan of work in India, then he looks at the listeners, because there is always a question, for doing all this work, where will we go for money? Then Swamiji says, money, don't think about it. It will pour down from the heavens, because I want it. It is not I want it, the ego wanting it. It is for the welfare of the all. It is for the divine work. So there will be no death. So here, suddenly wealth, Mahalakshmi came, and Nandagopa went to Mathura after a long period to give tax. Then he had a contact with Vasudeva. Then Vasudeva said, there is a son, a son is born to you, I know. And another son is also there, Balarama. He is my son. Please take care of these children very well. And there is every chance of some problem arising. Some kind of evil things can happen, so be careful. Nandagopa was wondering why Vasudeva is saying all that. By the time, in Gokula, Kamsa had many ministers in his cabinet, and one was Putana. She was given the job of killing children, infanticide. She was posted for that. And she descended in Gokulam through the sky. That is what Shukacharya says. Sa khechari ekada upetya putana nanda Gokulam. She is khechari. Khechari means coming through the Akasha. Political people, they can come. So she came down, and she has killed many children, so the news is spread everywhere that Putana, a dangerous demon, is coming and killing children. People are all afraid. But they never thought that she will come to Gokulam. Actually, she is also called as a Mahamari, like our corona. People used to think it will not come to our village, but there also it came. Every place they think it will not affect here, there also it goes. Like that, this Putana is a Bala Arishta. So she came there, and she was searching for children. She heard about that beautiful child Krishna, and she went to Yashoda's house. She was dressed beautifully. She was in the disguise of a beautiful woman. And all the Gopikas, simple, they were all cattle rearing community. They were all Gopas and Gopikas. They were all wondering where from this beautiful woman came. And they were wondering whether it is Mahalakshmi. This is the example given. We will feel why such an example is given to her. Because she is going to get merged with the God, merged with Bhagavan. Bhagavan is going to give, Uddhava says in the third skanda, for Putana who came to him with poison, he gave the state that one should give to one's mother. So she had a rare radiance in her. So all, in olden days, in our villages we have seen, some car comes, and every house, all of them will come out to see who has come. Now, in the apartments, nobody is bothered who is living in the next neighbor. So every Adava woman, they were there, and they were following her, and she came, investigating children, found Krishna. Balagrahastatra vichinvati shishun yadrichaya nandagrihe asadantakam. Who is Krishna? He is asadantakam. He is come, he is asadantakam. Asat, when come comes, Asat goes. When Brahman comes, the unreal goes. When the real comes, the unreal goes. Asadantakam balam pratichanna nijoru tejasam dadarshatalpegnivahitam bhasi vibudhyatam balakamarikagraham characharatma sanimilite kshanaha. Krishna saw, he was seeing all these gopikas, all pure bhakti, love. But suddenly he saw Putana, he said, no, I cannot see her. Closed his eyes. He closed his eyes. And all the commentators, they are all very busy commenting on why he closed his eyes. One commentator said, she is a terrible person, I should not look at her. If my gaze falls on her, she will also get liberated. No, it is closed. And another commentator said, one eye of Bhagavan is Uttarayana, another eye is Dakshinayana. Both paths are closed for her. And another commentator said, he closed his eyes and went to Kailasa. Mahadeva. He called Mahadeva. Why? What happened, Krishna? See, this woman has come with poison in her breast. I have no practice in drinking poison. So I have come to take a course with you. He said, you have not taken Mahalakshmi to touch here. Don't think about it, drink. Nothing will happen to you. Anyhow, you cannot turn blue. That is ruled out because you are already blue. So nothing will happen to you, go and drink. And then he called Vishwamitra and said, in last avatara, you asked me to kill a woman, Tataka. Now another demon has come. I don't know why these people constantly come to me. So that is taken. And now these are all interesting commentaries, but she took Krishna in her lap. Anantam aropayadankam. We also have to do, when we meditate, we have to take the ananta and keep in our anga, in our heart. A viparita upama is given. Yathoragam suptam abuddhi rajjudhihi. In Vedanta, we say Rajusarpa Vibhranti. A rope is taken for a snake, but here she took a snake for a rope. But the danger is more here. And then she started giving him milk in her breast, and he started drinking milk. And there was suddenly, he started drinking her life, all the prana from her. Pranaihi samam rosha samanvito pipat. Actually, Bhagavan has touched the marmasthanam. Because when we say I, we touch our chest. And that is right there, marmani. In that marmasthana, he started taking the prana. Because when prana goes, it goes and merges there. From there, he started sucking the prana, and she started screaming, Munja munja alamiti prabhashini. Enough. Free me, let me free, enough. This is a mantra. Bhagavan says, even if it is Putana, if someone is ready to say alam for the world and munja to me, I will make them free. There are very few who are ready for that. Sometimes, some durachari will sometimes say, enough of this world. This happens, Sometimes durachari, a characterless person or one who is fallen person, sometimes he will get liberated. It happened with Arunagirinatha. He was leading a very licentious life, sensuous life. And he got fed up with that. And he said, enough. And he climbed the top floor of the tower in Arunachaleshwara temple. And from there he is called Muruga. and jumped from there. And then Lord took over him and gave him Upadesha. And such a great sage he became. So it is quite possible that a time will come when Vairagya will descend. So perhaps, or we should not even use the word perhaps, because she had the touch of Bhagavan, it is sure that she might have had that Vairagya. And she said, Munja munja alamiti prabhashini, nishpidyamana akhila jiva marmani. That jiva marma. That jiva marma is here, that I. Nobody says I. Nobody says touching the tummy, I. It is very near. Actually, you have to take the hand almost 180 degree to say I. But you do that. Everywhere you go world, everyone touches here. And that is the Jiva Marma Sthana. And there Bhagavan sucked her prana and gave her liberation with ha. She fell down, a huge form. That demoness fell down there. And all the Gopas came, where is Krishna, where is Krishna? It was like a big hill. And from there, like a golden piece, they took Krishna from there. And they cut Putana's body and they somehow felt, oh, Bhagavan has rescued Krishna, otherwise she would have eaten him. They cut her body and burnt it. While burning that body, there was fragrance. A divine fragrance, because she was blessed by Bhagavan's touch. And then they said, Krishna escaped from Putana, we should do some raksha for Krishna. So they made him sit in a place and took some gomutra in a vessel and gave a bath with that gomutra. Then did some puja with Gomaya and Keshava, Narayana, Madhava, Govinda, Vishnu, Madhusudana, Trivikrama, Vamana, Sridhara, Rishikesha, Padmanabha, Damodara. With these 12 namas, they gave Raksha to Bhagavan. So Bhagavan's nama is Raksha to Bhagavan also. So here, after this Putana Moksham, Putana Uddhava is crying to Vidura, thinking about that compassion, how Bhagavan was ready to give that state to even Putana. The door to liberation, Muktidvaram Apavritam, he says in Gita, no? Muktidvaram Apavritam, I have kept this door open. Anyone can walk in and get it liberated. So Putana also got liberated. After this, we have to run now. That Garga Purohita came. And now only he is going to give the name. We are using Krishna. That Garga Purohita came because Vasudeva sent him here. He sent him to Gokulam. Krishna is of a higher birth, but these cattle rearing people, we don't know what name they will give. They will give some meaningless name. So better send our Purohita to Gokulam and ask him to give name to that children of mine. So he went there. And he also didn't want to reveal that he is Vasudeva's son. So he said he is Vasudeva because he was Vasudeva's son in last birth. He is Krishna because he looks black. Here also you will see some Kaliya name. In Tamil Nadu we have that Karupasamy. That kind of name is there. It means black person. Like that Garga said, he looks black, so we will make him Krishna. But actually that name means Brahmavachi Shabda. Krish, that dhatu, has that Akarshana Swarupa. Veda uses that name as Brahmavachi Shabda. So he did not reveal that. Like that he gave Narayana, Vasudeva, Krishna. And this Balarama was given Rama because he is so sweet, looks very delightful. So he is Rama. Baladhikyat balam vituhu. He is so strong. So he is Balarama. Sankarshana. These names were given. And after that, the most sweet Leela in Krishnavatara, or Bala Leela. In Ramayana, you cannot find so many Bala Leela. In Krishnavatara, you see Krishna is always a Bala, Bala Govinda. So he is moving about in that Gokulam. He wanders here, there, everywhere in Gokulam. Shankaracharya says, who is wandering about? Satyam jnanamanantam nityamanakasham paramakasham goshtha prangana ringana lolam anayasam paramayasam maya kalpitananakaram anakaram paramakaram shmamanathamanatham pranamata govindam paramanandam govindam paramanandam bhaja govindam paramanandam govindam paramanandam Bhaja Govindam Paramanandam. Shankaracharya says when that child is moving about with 2 hands and 2 legs in the knees, Shankaracharya says it is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. That Brahma is moving here and there, and the entire Gokulam has become sacred by that. Tavangri yugmam anukrishya sarisrupantau ghosha praghosha rujiram vraja kardameshu tannada hristam manasa vanusritya lokam mugdha prabhida vadupeyatuhu antimatroho. Those 2 mothers, Yashoda and Rohini, they were very busy with children, especially when you have a child, very energetic child. The mother becomes very busy and she will be constantly complaining about his mischief. But every complaint there will be a joy. Even while complaining there will be joy. The more mischief this child makes, there is more joy in talking about it. So, but here Sakshat Brahmavastu is moving about, touching fire, touching a knife, the sharp portion of the knife. These are all what usually children do. Going to places where there are thorns. And these mothers, they say, we have no time to do household work. And after some days, Krishna started moving about, running here, there, and went to the nearby houses where all these gopikas, they were fond of Krishna. They will take Krishna. And said, Krishna, see the cow? This is mother cow. This is her child, the calf. Krishna asked, why have you kept him tied? Because he will go and drink the milk. Krishna said, oh, Yashodama's milk is for me, so too his mother's milk is for him. You should not do this with that. Vatsan munjan kvajita samaye krosha sanjataha saha steyam swadvatya tadadhibayaha kalpitai steya yogai Markan bhokshin vibhajati chase sachennati bhandam bhinatti dravyalabhe sagriha kupito yati upakroshyato. Krishna went to a house and that Gopika came with a complaint to Yashoda and said, you know what your son has done. He came, we usually milk the cow by 5 o'clock in the evening. He came when it is 3. And he untied the calf, and the calf went and drank the entire milk. Not only that, we were unaware of this doing. I was by the time inside the room getting dressed. And he looked inside and said, "Oh, Granny, in Tamil we call party. What we say in Hindi? Dadi. This is Dadi. He called Dadi. Your cow is going now unbound. I have removed the rope." And she got so angry. She says, "He called me grandmother. And she is only 25 years old. And he did this to me." Markan Bokshin took the butter from my house and gave it to the monkeys. Vibhajati sajenati bhandam bhinatti. He entered my house and broke the butter pot. Yashoda asked, "Why did you do that?" "Because it is all smelling." Not a sweet butter, it was smelling. And such things he is doing. One day, one house, Krishna entered, wanted to go inside and take butter. That house had lot of milk, lot of butter, and this Gopa boy of that house, he came to Krishna and told, very fat boy. He came to Krishna and told, "In my house there is lot of butter, but my mother and my grandmother, they are not giving to anyone. And my grandmother and my mother are constantly fighting." And she says, "When you came married to this house, you were very slim. And now you are growing fat. And butter is becoming less. She said, "I didn't take butter. All these are those boys led by that Nandagopa's son." No. That boy is very slim. It is only you are eating. If he is eating, catch hold of him." That mother-in-law told her daughter-in-law. Then, she did one thing. She kept the door closed. And she had to go and work inside. The mother-in-law went for bath in the river. And she tied a bell there, so that when Krishna comes and touches the door, it will do ding ding. And went inside for work. By the time all these boys came there, Krishna looked, and the bell is there. How to make the bell not to make sound. Then he understood why Yashoda Ma is giving daily that lion cloth, Kaupina. He removed that and tied the mouth of the bell, and then the bell stopped making any noise. And entered inside, and this fat boy, he made him stand in 4 legs, stood over him, took the butter from the vessel and sat there and distributed to everyone. He didn't take anything. And then the monkeys also came, for them also he gave. And after that, the missing butter, the remaining butter he was about to take. By the time this lady heard some sound, she came inside and she saw this beautiful figure. All other children went, only 2 remaining, the fat boy like a horse below and Krishna above. And that boy also, when he saw his mother, did some shake. Krishna was down and he ran away. And Krishna still was sitting there with his hand inside the pot. Then this Gopika asked, "Who are you?" She knows very well, but she wanted to speak to him. She asked, "Who are you?" "Kastvam Bala." He said, "Balanujaha." I am Balarama's brother. Because Balarama is a strong person, very disciplined person. So his name was given, Balanujaha. Oh, okay. Kimihate, why did you come here? He said, "Amma, all house looks same to me. So I somehow mistook your house for my house and came inside. Man mandira shankaya." Oh, very logical. Then that Gopika asked, "Why is your hand now inside the butter vessel?" Then he made his face very serious. He looked at her. Mataha. He called her Mataha, Amma. And she was in the Satyaloka, forgot everything because he called her Amma. You know, Yashodama sent us all to rear cattle, and one small white, pure white calf was missing. And I was searching for it here, there, and suddenly I peeped through the window in your house. In the butter pot, I saw something white. So I thought this must be my calf. So I am searching for your calf here. Kanjanavatsakam rigayitum maga vishadam shanat. She was wondering what an explanation. She was wondering like that. By the time his mouth was full of butter, he just did a putkara in her face. And her face was full of white butter. And he ran away. By the time she cleared the butter from his face, mother-in-law is standing there. Now you can imagine what would have happened there. Griha kupitaha, that is what the thing it is said. Griha kupitaha. You see, even the rift that is created in families is done by him. Why he does that, we don't know. Something must happen. He becomes Griha Kupita because your job is to do bhakti. When you fail to do bhakti, he becomes Griha Kupita. He becomes angry with your family and does something. Yadi upakrosyato kane. He took the butter and ran away. Thus, many leelas are enjoyed by devotees. One day, Balarama came to Yashoda and told Krishna is eating mud. Very famous leela. 2 times, 3 times he told, he will not tell a lie. So Yashoda called, Krishna, come here. Why? You have eaten mud? No, mother, that is only during Pralaya Kala. Why should I eat mud now? No, open your mouth. Naham bhakshitavanamba. I have not eaten. Kaye vamaha. Who told you? Musali, your brother. Mithyam bapashyananam. It's all mithya. He says it is mithya. Then open your mouth. Mitsramatsi heti yashodam tadana shaishava santrasam. Shankaracharya is enjoying this leela. Mritsnamatsi heti yashodam tadana shaishava santrasam vyadhita vaktra lokita loka loka chaturdasha lokalim lokatrayapura moolastambham lokalokamanalokam lokesham paramesham pranamata Govindam Paramanandam. She said, open your mouth. You opened his mouth. She wanted to see a drop of mud there, but she saw the entire earth, the sun, the moon, all the planets, all the galaxy, entire universe was seen in his mouth. And there suddenly she saw a Gokulam. There she saw herself. She saw Krishna. Everything was seen. And one moment there was Tattvajnanam. Yetat vichitram saha jivakala swabhava karmashaya linga bhedam. Oh. It is not that simply you see in some cinema, some episode, something is shown. It is not like that. It was like that time, space, causation, swabhava, everything was shuffled. She was looking there. Suddenly she saw that jiva, kala, swabhava, karma, ashaya. Bhagavata gives out all these things are one. It says the jiva kala, the I, and its expression is swabhava. Each one has their own swabhava. And that swabhava operates inside the span of kala, time, in the form of karma, and brings in bondage. The whole thing was seen, entire thing was seen. In a split second, she saw time, what is time? And time moving inside thoughts, because if there are no thoughts, time will not be there. So thoughts, time, action, ignorance, doership, enjoyership, the plane of waking, dream, deep sleep, everything was seen in a moment. And suddenly she thought, what, this is all dream? Or is it Devamaya? Or Buddhi Moha? What is this? Suddenly everything stopped. The entire dream, the Swabhava, Karma, Kala, everything subsided, only the Adhisthana was there. That substratum was there, that pure Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhava, Yadashrayam, Yena, Yataha, Pratiyate, Sudurvibhavyam, Pranatasmi, Tatpadam. In that Adhisthana, where in the screen where the entire movie of Maya was seen, everything disappeared, and she saw only that Brahman exists, only that pure consciousness exists. In that this I, you, he are all illusion. Aham mama sau patiresha me sutaha vrajeshwarasya akila vittabasati gopyasya gopaha sahagodhanasya me yan mayaya yitham kumati same gatihi. These are all Maya. Only that Atmavastu is real. A glimpse of Tattvajnana. Here she says, iti vidita tattvayam gopikayam. Shukacharya says, the Gopika for a moment became a vidita tattva. Came to know, because that is the purpose of Bhagavan. Moment by moment he will reveal and close, reveal and close. Just like Vrindavan Bhange Bihari. Open the screen, show and close. Open the screen, show and close. Like that, itham vidita tattvayam gopikayam sa ishvaraha vaishnavim vyatanotumayam putra snehamayim vibhuhu. Next moment, he said, I am very hungry, Amma. Stanamam badisheti upasajan bhagavan adbhuta balaka pahimam. He said, Stanam disha, give me milk, give me milk. He started crying, and that mother forgot everything. Next moment that moha came, everything was forgotten, and she did some raksha to his child. Something was seen around the child, some Buddha Bada. And she did some raksha. Thus the Leela was going on. That Krishna Anubhuti was happening, and Yashoda was in joy, all the Gopikas were joy, Vrindavana was full of milk and butter, all the cows, they were giving lot and lot of milk. And one day Yashoda very happily built, very fat, doing that Dadi Mathana. Anganam Anganamantare Madhavo Madhavam Madhavam Chantare Anganam Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. She was just doing that Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. She was doing that Madhimatana, Dadimatana. Ekada Dadhivimathakarinim Mataram Samupase Divan Bhaman. Bhattadri wrote this like a child walking. Ankametya Papivan Payodharau. He came near, removed her hand. In her lap he sat and started drinking milk, Krishna. And she was doing the Dadimatana. Suddenly she heard a noise. The milk that she has kept in the kitchen, it rose and fell in the fire, and that noise was heard. So much milk is lost. She didn't remember Krishna is lying in her lap. She put him down and ran to the kitchen. He became so angry. I have come to drink milk and you have kept me aside. Of course, I was lying in milky ocean, but that milk is not drinkable. I had no chance to drink mother's milk. Now I have got chance. You didn't give me milk. And he took a big mortar, or what they call, not the mortar, Pesalala, Amikorbi, a big stone. And with that, he broke that pot, and all that butter, curd, everything was spread out there. There is a beauty here. Narayana Bhattadri wrote, he took that Manthadanda. Manthadanda upagirhya patitam. Actually in Bhagavatam it is written, Krishna took a big stone and put it on the pot. Ashmana. And Bhattadri changed it for that Manthadanda. Actually that Manthadanda is there, very nearby, and it is somewhat more liftable for a child. But to bring a big stone, you have to go somewhere and difficult. So he changed it for that Manthadandam upagrihya patitam hantadeva dadhibhajanam tvaya. Then he heard Guruvayurappa laughing. Guruvayurappa said, Bhattadri, it looks very nice. But what happened is what Vyasa told. I only brought that big stone. I didn't I observe that Manthadanda there. I only brought that big stone and put it on the pot. And then that broke and took the butter and started running. Hartum kumbe vinihita saraha karaha swaduhayangi gavinam hritva damagrahana chatulam mataram jatarosham payadisha prachalita patho napagacchannatishtan mithya gopas sapadinayane Milayan Vishwagupta. That Vedanta Deshika sung like that. He took that butter in his hand and was just cogitating whether to run or not. If I run now, mother will catch hold of me and will beat me. No, I will go and tell all the Gopikas my mother is coming to beat me, rescue me. So they will come and rescue. That is a good idea. I will run. Then suddenly thought came, yesterday I went to steal in their house. For that also I will get beating. So better not run. Like that he was thinking pros and cons, thinking and was at last he gave a run. And Yashoda was chasing him and at last caught hold of him and said, I am going to tie you. Kridagasam prarudantamakshini karshandamanjanmashini swapaninam udvikshamanam bhayavihvalekshanam haste grihitva vishayantyavagurat. She took him, put that stick down and took a big rope and started tying him. But she could not tie. Bandhumichchati yameva sajjanaha tam bhavantam ai bandhumichchati saniyujya rashana gunan bahun dvyangulo namakhilam kilaikshata. Very beautiful usage. Says bandhumichchati yameva sajjanaha. All the sajjana, all the devotees, all the noble people, they want to get him as a bandhu. Or you can say they want to imprison him in their heart. That Krishna, here this Gopika want to tie, bind with a rope. And she has taken only one yoga. What yoga? Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga? No. Bhakti Yoga? No. She has taken only one yoga, that is Rosha Yoga. Give him some beating. And then she saw. And what was he doing? He was giving this curd to the monkeys in Bhagavatam. Bhattadri said she was giving that butter to the kitten, to the cat and kitten, so that he can say the cat only ate. Here there is a usage, because Bhakti Marga has two marga. One is the kitten path, the other is child monkey's path. Markada Kishora Nyaya and Marjara Kishora Nyaya. This Markada Kishora we can see inside ashram. So many monkeys, the children will be hugging to the mother. They will not leave. They have that kind of hug. But if they leave the hold, they will fall down. Like that is the sadhaka in the beginning. Usually they say it is a two path. One is this monkey path, other the cat path. But it is actually not so. In the beginning, the sadhaka has to be like the monkey, very disciplined, doing sadhana, striving day and night to attain that state. Then in the next stage, he will be just making sound like the kitten, calling Bhagavan, meow, meow. And he will come. Only the kitten it speaks Hindi. Says meow, meow. The mother cat has to come and take it. Like that the bhakta is here calling for Bhagavan, and Bhagavan has to come and hold. One devotee told Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi that I like this Marjara Kishora Nyaya, like the kitten path. I will just cry, you have to take hold of me. Then Maharshi said, you should hold to me like the baby monkey. I will look after you like the cat. It is not, there is no shortcut. You have to exhaust your willpower, your effort, your entire will must be exhausted in sadhana. That willpower is energy. Somewhere you have to utilize it, otherwise it will create bondage. Bondage is born from willpower only. The same willpower should be exhausted in sadhana, then Bhagavan's grace will be, you will come in touch with that presence, that mighty presence, which we call grace. So here, he was giving that butter to the kitten, and she caught hold of him and tried to tie him. But dvyangulo namakhilam kilakshal. The 2 angula was missing. Udara means stomach, and Dama means a rope. With that rope she was trying to tie Krishna. Bhagavata says, Nacha antar na bahiryasya na purvam na pichaparam purvaparam bahishchantaha jagado yo jagatchayaha Tammatva atmajam avyaktam martyalingam adokshajam gopika ulukale damna babandha prakritam yata. One who has neither inside nor outside, one who pervades everywhere, that Krishna she wanted to bind. And bandhameva kripayanvamanyatha, when she could not bind him. This is the sadhana. You try to do sadhana, and you are not able to get him, and then you leave, then you understand your helplessness. Then tears come in your eyes, then he comes to you, kripaya bandhameva anvamanyatha. He allows you to bind him. He allows you to bind him. He comes to your life by his pure grace. Like that, Krishna allowed Gopika Yashoda to bind him. She tied him in a mortar, in a ulukala. And we know the story with that ulukala. Krishna just moved, and ulukala went and caught in between two trees, two Arjuna Vriksha. And those two trees, they were rooted out. This small child just pulling the ulukala, and the two trees were rooted out. In their place stood two radiant beings, two Gandharvas, Kubera Anucharas, Nalakubara and Manigriva. They were cursed by Narada to stand as trees in Gokula. It was not a curse that they got this vision of Krishna there, liberation there. Hence they felt indebted to Narada. They said, Bhagavan, give us the boon that we will have more and more vision of Bhagavatas like Narada. Vani gunanu kathane Shravanau kathayam hastau cha karma sumanastava padayornaha smrityam shirastava nivasa jagat praname drishtihi sadam darshanestu bhavattanunam. Bhagavan, let our mouth constantly utter your nama, speak about your attributes, and let our ears constantly hear your Katha, Bhagavat Tattva, and let our hand do puja to you, and let us serve you day and night, and let our mind be always meditating on your form, and let our head be always in Namaskar Bhava, Pranama Bhava, and let our eyes see saints like Narada Maharshi. Give us this Mahabhagyam. This was the boon that they wanted. Namah Paramakalyana, Namah Paramang Mangala, Vasudevaya Shantaya, Yadunam Pataye Namaha. They just disappeared. They got liberated. Krishna is lying down in the ulukala. Then Nanda Gopa came and freed Krishna from that ulukala. Thus Krishna grew up in Vraja, in Gokula, and he was playing with all the children there. They were having Brahma Sukhanubhava. Even one day they went to a picnic to the nearby forest, Vana Bhojana. Kvajidvanashaya manodadat prajad pradas samuthaya vayasya vatsavan prabodhayan shringaravena charuna vinirgado vatsapurassaro harihi. In morning, Krishna will take a trumpet call he will make, and hearing that, all the Gopas will come with all food items. They are going for a picnic. So somebody has brought some poha, somebody has brought some sweet, some fruits, and with all that they have come to the forest and they stayed there. And there also they had to meet a asura who came in the form of a big snake, a python. And that Aghasura was killed by Krishna. And Shukacharya says, this story was narrated by all the Gopa boys to their parents after 1 year. Parikshit asked, what is this? Krishna killed a snake, and that story, why it took 1 year to narrate? In between something happened that they could not narrate that story for 1 year. What is the thing that happened? When they asked it, Shukacharya entered into samadhi. Ittam smaprishtas satupadarayanihi tatsmaritananta hrita khilendriyaha. All the senses went inside. The inner fire swallowed the senses, the mind, the intellect, the ego. Everything was swallowed within. And Sri Shuka sat immersed in samadhi. And after a few minutes, with great difficulty, he opened his eyes and came out. Krichrad punarlabda bahirdrishihi shanaihi pratyahatam. He told them this story. Hey Bhagavatottamottama. That Sutta Mahamuni is calling Shaunaka Maharshi because he has listened Bhagavatam so much. So the listener is a blessed person. Him, that Sutta is calling, hey Bhagavatottamottama. You are not a Bhagavatottama, you are Bhagavata Uttamottama. Because we are listening to this blessed story, they were all playing after the killing of the python. Then they were playing, dancing. One Gopa will run there and call Krishna. Krishna will chase him, catch hold of him. They will hug together and roll in the mud. All these things were happening. Brahmaji got disturbed. See, in Vaikuntha, Narayana is so magnificent, Gambhira Purusha. Here playing with these boys, rolling in mud. What is happening here? So he wanted to see what is happening. From there, he had a glimpse. Pibradvenum jatarapatayoho shringavetre chakakshe vame panau masrinakabalam tatphalani angulishu Tishtan madhye swapari suhrudo hasayennarmabhisvaihi Swarge loke mishati bubuje yajna bukbalakelihi. Krishna standing there with all the Gopas, joking with them, with some humor. All of them were laughing and eating from each other's leaf. And all those things were happening there. And after that they started a play. Krishna will close his eyes. All the Gopas should go and hide somewhere. This is the right moment. This Brahma also wanted to play. But he is very old. He has forgotten how to play. He also wanted to play. See, some people, they come down to play. Old age. They say, I also want to play football with you. Once upon a time, I was a great player. And this old man came and started playing with the children. He kept the football there, came running and hit. Only he fell, ball remained there. And 4 boys took him in structure to the orthopedician. All fracture. Ball till next day did not make a move. So like that, our Brahmaji also wanted to play. He came and he was not aware of how to play. You know what he did? He took all the Gopa boys and put them inside a cave and made them sleep. And took all the calves also, put them inside another cave and made them sleep. And by the time somebody said, some problem in creation, you come and look, he went there. By the time he has rectified it and came back, it was 1 year. Because in Brahmaloka it is like that. So it was 1 year. In between, Krishna looked, evening here to take all the children home, nobody is seen. The calves are not seen. Krishna himself became everyone. He became the Gopa children, he became the cows, he became the calves. Every sign, every mudra in their body, everything he became, and went to their house. The calf went to its house, and the cow was in ecstasy seeing the calf. The children went to their house, parents were in ecstasy. This 1 year passed. Balarama Swami started thinking, what is happening? Some strange phenomenon is happening, and he saw Sarvam Vishnumayam. Girongavadaja Sarvaswarupo Babau. All is Vishnumayam, Vishnumayam, Vishnumayam. And Brahma also saw everything is happening. He thought he is indispensable. Now creation is happening without him. Which is original, which is duplicate? Whether his creation is original or Krishna's creation. He came down and gave out a big stuti, very beautiful stuti. Wherever in Bhagavata you have a Brahma stuti, that is very profound. So tomorrow we will begin with that Brahma stuti, and we have to somehow finish at least the Dashma Skandam. The Ekadasha Skandam we cannot even touch. That we will see some other time. But tomorrow, in the 2 sessions, we will finish the Dashma Skanda, Krishna Avatara. This grand Bhagavata Saptaha Yajna, many devotees were asking for a Bhagavatam in English, but generally I don't move about much. The Bhagavatam happens either in Tamil or in Malayalam, very rarely in English. So here Shivananji Maharaj decided that it should happen here. So we have done a small abridged form of Saptaha here, so that we will conclude tomorrow, and then we will have Satsanga whenever possible. So we will see. By that tomorrow evening we will again see. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Ito mamatma bhavasi tvameva tato na vachyam mama kinjidasti yatha taveshtam kurumam tathaiva Tvam Atmanatham Ramanam Bhaja.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. 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 Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai.
There will be Srimad Bhagavat Katha in English by Brahma Sri Nochur Venkataraman ji as per the details given below.